Key Nephrology of National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. He's also a fellow, International Society of Nephrology and Kidney Disease Research of UK. After completing his clinical fellowship at Sheffield Kidney Institute, UK, he had presented 34 purely scientific papers in national and international scientific meetings. He is a member of many learned and professional bodies such as Nigerian Medical Association, Medical and Dental Consultant Association of Nigeria, Nigeria Association of Nephrology, Nigerian Hypertension Society, Nigerian Transplant Society, International Society of Nephrology, International Society of Hypertension, African Association of Nephrology. He has published over 90 scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals, including handbooks and a chapter in a book, predominantly on kidney diseases, especially chronic kidney disease, hypertension, kidney transplantation. He is married and blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the facilitator for the January edition of TAU KnowledgeX series, Professor Olanrewaju Timothy Olusegun.
Thank you very much for reading the citation. Let me add that our guest speaker today, facilitator today, was one of the team that conducted the ever first kidney transplant at the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. So we have firsthand with us a great achiever in the academia who also is an entrepreneur. He is the round peg in the round hole to speak to us on goal setting and planning. Join me, colleagues, to welcome for presentation, Professor Timothy Olanrewaju. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, the facilitator. Please, can you permit me to share my slide?
Yes, sir. I am making you a co-host now so that you can go ahead to do that, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor from Adewumi University, Professor Francisca Oladipo. Thank you very much, Ima, for granting me the privilege to share this little talk with the university community. And we thank you for the great work you are doing there. I also thank the facilitator, Dr. Samuel Farumbi, the deans of faculties, directors, professors that are present, head of departments, great academics of the Thomas Adewumi University, and other staffs, non-academic staffs. Thank you very much, and I welcome everyone. It is my pleasure indeed to accept the invitation to share this little talk within the allotted time of 30 minutes. And I hope that we'll be able to gain one or two things together, because what we are talking about is a lifelong learning and practice process, not a one-off thing. So both the speaker and the hearer, we are in it together. Please, can you see my slide? Is it visible now?
We can see your slide, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So the title of the talk is, as shown, Strategic Goal Setting and Implementation for Holistic Academic Excellence in 2025. So the objectives of the lecture will be to understand proven method for goal setting, and secondly, strategy for goal implementation to achieve all-round academic excellence. So my outline will be like this. I will talk about a few slides on introduction to goal setting, types of goals, importance of goal setting for academics, especially, and how to set strategic goals. Then we're going to deal on proven strategy for implementing goals to achieve academic excellence. By definition, goals are specific objectives that an individual or organization try to accomplish and are often used to focus efforts, to prioritize resources, and to motivate progress towards a desired outcome. So like this picture, goal is like an arrow that is aiming at a target. We have various aspirations, desires, what we want to achieve in life and purpose. And this varies. It could be a short time, it could be a long time. So there is a target, and that is what exactly we want to achieve or do. So, and that is what we aim at when we are setting goals. For academics, strategic goal setting and implementation are essential frameworks that guide them towards achieving holistic academic excellence. So here is an ambition, and then we set goals, and then we follow with making the plan to achieve it, and then we get into the action itself, as shown in this picture. Then we persist and stick to it in order to reach that goal. And when we achieve the goal, we are celebrated, we feel fulfilled. So academics and educational institutions are fundamentally tasked with teaching and with conducting innovative research that will impact the growth and development of a society. In an era characterized by rapid technological advancement and evolving societal needs, the pursuit of academic excellence has become increasingly demanding, as we can see globally and locally and nationally in our own environment here. The demand for academic excellence, and all around holistic academic excellence, is more pressing at this age of rapid innovation in technology that we are all experiencing. But generally, there are three main determinants of success in life, whether in academics, whether in industry, whether in other area of life. And they are the health of a person, the resources available for that individual, like what are the means that he has, what are the materials, and especially the time, how the person utilizes his time, and also the behavior. So three things majorly determine success. Health, which is the body of the individual, which is the driver of life and achievement. And then the resources, whether we have money and whether we have material to be able to achieve it. And time, which is God-given resources that is equally apportioned to every person to be able to utilize for the purpose of achieving our goal and to living a good life here. And thirdly is behavior, the characteristic of that individual, what we make him to achieve the goal and what we make him not to achieve the goals. If we follow it, like we have the 4 Ds, the decision, the determination, discipline, and diligence. I touch on this because health is so crucial that without it, then nothing can be achieved. Just to share with us, I just read today that one of our colleagues, a PhD holder who got his PhD last year, was making a presentation in Abeokuta, and then suddenly he collapsed, and that was up. And we have had a series of academics dying in their office, collapsing, and so on. Somebody was delivering an inaugural lecture sometimes before in our university, and just slumped while presenting. Thank God it was revived. Now, this makes it very imperative for us that I cannot talk about goal, because whatever goal the person has set, it's meaningless. He can never achieve it when life is gone. And that is why Herophilus, which is timed to be a father of medicine, who was born in Alexandria in Egypt and was a father of anatomy for decades. And he put it succinctly that when health is absent, wisdom cannot become manifest, strength cannot fight, wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. So this calls for us to take care of our health. And before we set in onto the setting goal, it's very important. It's part and parcel of the criteria or the resources we need to be able to achieve excellence in life. Types of goals. Generally, we have about 7 types. We have short-term goals, the goals that we set for short time, usually within a few days to months. Then we have long-term goals, like the one that we set for several months and for years, like this year, 2025, as our title of the lecture reads. When we set a goal that spans for a year, it's a long-term goal. And then personal goal, we want to relate to our personal health, which is important, as I've said. We have professional goals, that is career success, a part of our career, whichever career that we have chosen. We want to have a goal on it. People that are junior academics, who have not have maybe they are master, they want to have the master. Those who have PhD, they want to have a PhD. Those who have a PhD, they want to aspire to move to the academic ladder until they get to the top. And along the line, they want to set goals on how to achieve what is demand for them as a mission of the university and for their own personal progress and promotion. The financial goals, like savings, like making an investment. Academic goals, for example, for students, they want to make certain grades and so on. And for us, the academics, we are going to see specific goals that we should set as we go on. Then social goals, that is social health, like making new friends and relationships. These are generally the types of goals. As we are aware that the tripartite mandate of a university is teaching, research, and service. Some universities may also have some unique mission, but generally, these are the essence of a university system: to teach, to graduate individuals who have a requisite knowledge and expertise, to be able to, carry out projects and programs in the community that will lead to the growth and development of our society, whether economic development or technological development. Therefore, the academics in the university, lecturers and researchers, must have these following goals, which are specific to them. Number one, teaching goals, like to improve student learning or to develop new courses or programs for enhancing, in order to enhance the teaching methods. Number two, research goals. We want to publish research papers. We want to secure fundings or to collaborate with colleagues on research projects. Typically, one of the goals we want to set in this area is to say, I want to publish a certain number of papers in this year or every year for the next 5 years. When we are targeting maybe promotion. Promotion is important, but contributing to the society is a larger picture, which comes along with promotion. When we are affecting society through our publication, through our research, promotion comes automatically. So, and also service goals. We want to contribute to our department, the college, and university-wide service activities, such as committee work and mentoring. We want to align our individual goals in the academic environment where we are with the mission of the university, so that our mission and our vision can be aligned, and therefore we can achieve the same goal. As we are achieving individual goals, we are also achieving the goal of the entire university. Then number four is professional or personal development goals. And that touch on attending conferences, workshops, or training sessions to enhance personal skills, expertise, and knowledge. Now, talking about academics who are majorly, or one of their key responsibility is research. There is productivity or publication change. There is a cycle, there is a life cycle of publication in academics. There is a stage of protocol or proposal development, a stage of project that is, ongoing, that we already, we're already implementing, like a research. There is some manuscripts are in preparation and some manuscripts are in press. A typical academics, we have one thing or the other at these various stages. For instance, I have a protocol that I'm developing as a new protocol. I have a research lab, my own research lab where I conduct my clinical research. I have my own personal research assistant. So the project is ongoing that it will win international grants. Then I have manuscripts that I'm preparing. I have manuscripts that are prepared that I've submitted. So a typical academics have these chains, the productivity chains in publication. In other words, we should strive as much as possible to be in the chain of these the publications in order for us to be highly productive. Now, why is goal setting very important? Number one, it creates a sense of direction. When we set goals, we identify what we want to achieve and then what we need to achieve it with, which can create a sense of direction. Make us know to be very specific. It reduces diffusion of energy. For example, you could write a 2025 plan based on what you want our life to be, to look like in the next, this year and even over 5 years. Having this long-term goal can help us to move from just dreaming to actually doing it. Then it provides motivation. Now, when we consciously set goals, gives us something to aspire. And having a specific goal will motivate us to put our best, and the foot forward in that direction. And having a clear image of what we aim to achieve will serve as an inspiration. It also gives us greater control of our future. Setting goal puts us in the driver's seat of our life. Therefore, we leave nothing to fate or to chance, because we now take active role in making the dream to come to pass. And also, it helps us to identify what is important for fulfillment. In other words, the fulfillment of our purpose. I want to become a professor one day. Then, by setting goals and pursuing and implementing it, we make us gradually to achieve that and to be, to say we have reached a time where we can say, I have fulfilled this level. And at that level, we want to set another goal that what we want to do again, want to win a lot of grants and national grants and so on. Now, let's go on to how to set strategic goals. Number one is to conduct a self-assessment. We need to reflect on our strength, the weakness, the opportunity, and the threat, what we call the SWOT analysis, which I think we are all aware about, in order to identify areas that our life needs improvement and growth as an individual, whether academics or non-academic staff, where we need to bridge the gap or deficiency. SWOT analysis, we're able to expose it and help us. We strengthen where our strength is, and we bridge the gap and build up and beef up where our weaknesses is. And then we take advantage of the opportunity and we try to mitigate the threats that may be posing to our desire to pursue a life purpose. That is number one, self-assessment. Then secondly, it's very important to review institutional priorities. We need to familiarize ourselves with the university strategic plan and mission and vision in order to ensure alignment with the institutional goals. That is how we ourselves and the institution can reach the enviable height that we want to achieve, because we are working in synergy. We have the same vision and the same goal. So as individual faculty, they have different faculties and different departments are pursuing their goals in alignment with the university mission, vision, and goals. Individual is developing, is growing, is achieving. The university is taken to the higher level. So we have to work in synergy. So there is need to review the national priorities and make sure that we align ourselves with it. It's also very important, even for promotion, because if you don't familiarize with the criteria and the details, we just be working and not be able to align with what is required when the call is made. But when we know the mission and the vision of the university, and then we key into it and we align it, our own goal with the goals, then everything will begin to work out and individual make progress, the university at large also make progress. Number two is that we need to make our goals smart. I am very sure we have heard this before, that this goal must be specific. It must be very clearly defined with no ambiguity, and that we should have it very specific in our mind. Second, it must be measurable. We must have specific metrics that should be put in place that we can say, yes, I have achieved this. It's very clear. If a certain goal for publication, you say you want to write 3 papers every year, that means that every 4 months, you must be able to achieve that. If by 8 months you have not finished a single paper, it's very easy to understand that you are not achieving that goal. So the metrics must be there. In some other area, we need to, put in place sometimes what they call key performance indicators to see whether we are actually on the track or not. Thirdly is this goal must be attainable or achievable. It will be very difficult for somebody to say it's going to publish 50 papers in a year. It will be very difficult. That may probably be achieved where there is an extensive networking or collaboration in a big research where you have multiple people who are working together well. But it will be very, very difficult for an individual to do that, particularly when you are doing original work, original study. So our goal must be achievable or attainable. Then number 4, it must be relevant. It should be relevant to the goal that we have set. Our individual goals should contribute to our overarching idea of success. Is to drive us towards achieving the purpose of our life. Then finally, it must be time bound. The goals should be very realistic and it must have deadlines. And without deadline, then it will be difficult to quickly assess whether we have met the goals or not. Then number 4, we have to write it down. Somebody says, Steve Maraboli said, if you have a goal that is written down, if you have a goal, write it down. If you do not write it down, what we have is just a wish. Only goal setters who are goal writers are truly goal achievers. When we write it down, it's very easy for us to visualize it, and it's something that is going to quickly tell us whether we are moving or not. So let's write the goal down. 5, we have to set a timeline. We use Gantt charts to describe the work schedule and the timeline where we want to achieve it. And there's so many templates that we can use. I'm sure maybe some of us and most of us have used it before when we are writing proposal. It's a valuable tool for us to be able to set that the deadline for our goals. And it's easy for us to mark it, whether we are getting, when we're slowed down, we are not meeting that one deadline, it will be very clear to us and we can speed up in order to achieve the goals. Now let's look at strategy for implementing goals for holistic academic excellence. Number 1 is we have to outline action plan. We have set the goals. Now, how do we achieve it? We have defined the goal. We must create and prioritize the task. We must prioritize it. What is important? What is less important? What is urgent? What is not urgent? What needs to be done today? What can be, done at another time? And what we can delegate, or something that we can even do away with. Is for us to allocate the resources that we need in order to achieve them. We may need to hire personal research assistants in order to be able to achieve. I have to do that when I discover that I'm doing clinical work, I'm also doing lecturing and teaching, and I cannot use the doctors who are working with me to carry out the work. Then we have to use that. That's a human resources. And of course, pay them through our own salary and through the grants. With the grants actually make provision for the one that that the research that are funded. For those ones that are not funded, the personal research, we pay for that through our own resources. Then we had the deadlines and the milestones, and then we monitor the progress. This is how to write an action plan. We have ambition, make the goals, we decide, and then we write the action plan, and then we pursue it. We allocate the resources, identify the resources that are needed to achieve the goal, such as funding, personnel, and equipment. Now, when we discover that there are new tools, there are so many tools now that will help us to carry our research work, our teaching activity very well, we need to acquire it, and so that the goals can be achieved. We need to deploy the resources. If we are lacking the resources and it's going to benefit the institution, we need the institution to know so that it can answer us. For instance, if there is an internet, a short coverage for the internet and we need it more, we need to let the institution know. And for ourselves, in our own personal houses, we need to invest and make sure that we have all these things so that it can enhance our productivity. So we need to allocate resources. Number 3, we have to establish a monitoring and evaluating system. We should regularly track the progress toward the goal and evaluate the effectiveness of the strategy that we are employing. So it will be self-introspection and also evaluation of the research work. That is why regularly I have meetings every 2 weeks with my research team so that we can monitor what we have done wrong, what we have done right, and the progress we have made, or if there are cases that we need to address. In our international research team, we have meetings every month where all of us review what we have done. That is how to establish a monitoring system and to evaluate whether we are making progress or not. Number 4, which I'm going to dwell a little more, is extremely very important, and that is time management. Time is one of the most important aspects or most important resources for goals, implementation, and achievement. Time is the most important resource. If you have human resources, we have our health is very fine. We have a good health, and we have means, we have material, we have resources. The institution provides all the enabling environment, but personally, we do not deal with time, we will achieve less. So when we see an academic that have a good publications, he has good publications, and we have the other one that they come the same time, that one is getting promoted, the other one is not. Say, how many publications do you have? And you worry that the question they will ask, what are you doing with your time? Time management is extremely very important. And it's very easy to waste time if people are not conscious of it. So here we set goals, we prioritize work, we divide time limits, all those things, we organize resources, delegate work, we do redundancy, we avoid stress, and then you replan tasks. This cycle, talk about, and the center of it is the time management. Without time management, it will be very difficult to achieve all this. And so let me talk about the determinants of poor time management, which we need to deal with in order for us to be able to achieve our goal. Procrastination, busybody, indecision, poor planning, indiscipline, like excessive sleep, and excuses. Instead of thinking inward and also thinking outward, in order to be able to deal with a problem, we find a very comfort to give an excuse. It has been said that human brain is constructed to be able to deal with a task, to be able to solve problems. And if it is difficult for an individual, you can always recruit people to look at the status why collaboration is very, very important. All these itemized 6 items is not exhaustive. They are just, part of things that eat up the time and does not allow us to manage our time such that we can achieve excellence. There are proven time management strategy. Steve Covey described 4-quadrant model. Some of us will have seen this, or many of us. Talking about how to deal with when we have so many things to do. How do we approach it? So he described these 4 quadrants, where you have important, not important, important on the left upper part, not important on the lower one. Then you have the first row. The first quadrant is urgent and important. Something that is urgent, important, that is what to be done. So, and then secondly, the quadrant 2, the task is not urgent, but important. We plan on it. Quadrant 3, the matter is urgent, but it's not important. That one, we can delegate it to others to do it. quadrant 4, not urgent, not important, that matter can be eliminated. It doesn't have to cumber our time. It doesn't have to waste our time. You have to deal with it. And people have proved that this model has worked. And actually it was, because if you are the type that is busy, we will see that there is a deadline coming tomorrow. That is urgent and it's very important. You have to attend to that. This presentation today, the deadline is today. From yesterday, I know that I must deliver this. So every other thing has to, have to wait. I have to deal with this. Whereas there are some other things that I need to do that I can delegate with people. They are urgent, but they are not that important. I have to ask my subordinate to handle it because he can conveniently handle it for me. So this Steve Covey 4-quadrant model is very important for planning time and to be able to attend to what is important and to deal with them accordingly. What to plan for, what to delegate, and what to eliminate. There is another Brown Tracy ABCD method. These are not theory. They are practicals. The Brown theory and Brown Tracy is the author of Eat That Frog. Eat That Frog is a very powerful book that you may need to read. The ABCD method, I said, A, you can see A, B, C, D, E. Now, I said A is very important task. It's similar to the Steve Covey 4 model. A is major consequences if they are not carried out. It's like urgent and important. So you have to do that one. B is less important task. So small consequences if not realized. So if you categorize all the tasks that you want to do and you can profile them, you can triad them according to this laid down model, then you'll be able to enable us, it will assist us to prioritize and to focus on what is next, what is important, and to pay less attention to what is less important, and we will avoid anxiety and stress of not meeting the target, of not achieving our goal. Then C, something that is a pleasant task, no consequences if they are not carried out. D is tasks to delegate, to focus primarily on type A activities. So you can delegate if the task is something that you can delegate it so that you can focus on the very important task. And finally, the tasks that if they are negative or necessary, those ones you can deal with, like the Steve Covey model, the last contract. So this is very important, that to manage our time and to be able to pay attention to what is important, we need to follow this model. Now, finally, on this time management issue, proving time management strategy, one is to organize. One of the things that's going through a lot of literature and what people have achieved and what studies and research have told us, number one of the practical ways that we need to arrange our table. We need to arrange our study. We need to arrange our offices. Our file must be well arranged, like coded, like a library, such that when you are looking for a file, you can easily get it. And we should not cumbersome our study with some old irrelevant books. Books, because today we deal with paperless and we deal with a lot of online materials. So we should net that opportunity and make sure that some of the materials that we are using, because most of these things are obsolete really, but some of them are also valuable that are, hard copies. We keep them for reference's sake. So we need to organize our tables. In fact, one of the things that I do is to always make sure, whether at home, whether in my offices, and my table is well organized. I'm looking for something, I can easily grab it. Even on our laptops, all the files should be well labeled such that we are looking for it, we can easily get it. For instance, each year, all my files for 2021, I labeled them 2021 first before they are labeled. In 2022, I labeled them 2022 before the name. So I have each file for each year on my laptop. I have 5 for each year. For this 2025, already create files like this. This lecture now is 2025 presentation to TAU. That will be the label. So it's easier for me. If I'm looking for any files, I just look at, I type it and I try to locate it. So we need to organize our files and our table. Number two, we need to collaborate. If we want to achieve more, we need to work with people. They say if we want to work fast, we work alone. But if we want to work far, we work with people. We cannot emphasize collaboration today. If we want to achieve more in 2025, we cannot work in silos. We cannot be recluse. We have to go out and network. And people have told us that our networking is our net worth. Our network is our network. So the number of networking you have is your network. And that is extremely very true today. If you want to publish more and you want to have more skill, please, you need to go out and network with people. Number three, you have to manage interruptions. This is very important. We have to silence, like you can put off your alarm. You can decide to put off any notifications, like, when you are working now and the email is coming and then there's alarm, or the WhatsApp is coming in, message is coming in, there's alarm, you can switch that one off. These are little things that makes one to concentrate on their goals. When we are writing paper and the environment is silent and our thought is flowing, the stream is very good. Interruption can disorganize that flow. And before we get into the stream, it may take some minutes. So we manage lots of interruptions. We also manage meetings to conserve time. We that are leaders organize the meetings, that are control the meetings, to ensure that narratives are shortened, that question and answer are very specific, and that meetings are not unnecessarily or unduly prolonged. Then, number five, we need to control technologies, phone, email, social media. We can do bulk checking of the emails. You have a set time where you check your WhatsApp, when you check your emails. You see, we academics, we have a lot to do. Many have their families as well. We are not like students who are always pressing their phone. We should be so disciplined that our phone cannot control. We should be in charge and control of the time. We should have a regulated time when we attend to, things like that. We check our emails. We cannot be opening the email and checking each email that's coming. You should be a bulk checking. And also you should, make sure that it's not all the phone coming that you can pick at a time. We can put vibrations and we can always call back later. Then we avoid procrastination. Procrastination is very dangerous. We see that you deal with the situation or you delegate. Where is a matter that can be delegated? And finally is task shifting. You shift task or multitask. It has been researched that multitasking actually reduce efficiency or effectiveness. But we can change one task to another and then shift. If there is a boardroom, for instance, now, if I'm writing the discussion section of a paper and I get like a get board, I put my staple there, put my marker there, and I can go back to something like maybe literature review that I'm doing or searching literature site for, manuscript that I want to read. But you cannot do the same thing at the same time. It's assumed that it's sharp energy. It does not allow a coherence of the thought. It diffuses it because you are doing many things at a time. So task shifting or shifting of tasks is that been said that is better than multitasking. So in summary, time management is the most effective strategy to sustain productivity and to achieve goals. You plan ahead. You have a simple to-do list. To-do list is very useful for everyday affair. Well, we can even say every day or every week affair. But it must be very simple and not cumbersome. Actually, when people draw to-do lists and it's cumbersome, they will never achieve it. To-do list must be very simple and few, and it should be important matter that we can achieve. Then we have said that we should avoid distraction. the distraction. Making a bulk of hours or hourly schedule. I typically make 2 hours schedule. I divide my time into hourly most of the time. When we're at my table in my life, in my study or in the office, and I want to work, I work into 2 hours. In other words, I try to do my work and review every 2 hours. I want to be sure what am I doing within these 2 hours. And indeed, this presentation, I set my time, what I want to do in order to achieve it, in order to make sure that I meet up the time. So it's always good for one to have a bulk of time where we devote to achieve a particular target. That is part of achieving the goal. As I will be rounding up, I want to show us something like this. They call it Ikigai. Perhaps some of us have heard about it. It's the Japanese secret to a joyful life. And they call it Ikigai. Ikigai is the summary of Japanese. Japanese are very successful people. Japanese also have the highest life expectancy. So it's good to study them. If we study them, even in terms of health, you see what they are doing that give them a very longer life and the achievement. They believe in one improvement every day, Like what they say that Rome's were not built in a day, but the blocks are laid every day. So they believe that you are living for a purpose, and that purpose is characterized by what you love most, your passion, your mission for existence, what the world needs that you can provide for them, your vocation, something that you can do at your leisure time, what you can offer that can feed you life, that can feed you survival or finance, which is linked to your profession, and what you are good at. All this, you can see a cycle, and Ikigai is in the middle. What it means is that the typical Japanese is part of their culture that they live to fulfill purpose. And these are the things. So in them, the self-awareness and consciousness is that they must achieve, and they pursue, they identify their purpose early. So they plan on it, they get focused on it. Goals give us focus. Goals give us direction. Goals give us a sense of consecration and fulfillment. And that is why I put this slide here for us. So I want to thank everyone. My recommended book for us as follows. The two of them, we have number one, goal setting and personal evaluation as a key to productivity. This is the proceeding of workshop on equipping staff for optimal performance. It's a publication of Center for Research Development and In-House Training, University of Ilorin. That was in June 2012. The second one is research as a tool for academic excellence, which is also a proceeding of workshop that is titled Towards Excellence in Teaching and Research. It's a publication of Center for Research Development and In-House Training, University of Ilorin, in November 2012. Then the book by Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is a very good one that we need to read. I also recommend the book by Richard Templer, How to Get Things Done, or Getting Things Done by David Helen, and Effective Time Management. I want to thank you very much for your attention. I'm aware that possibly there will be questions. Thank you very much.
Professor Olanrewaju, you have done great justice to this topic. Though we have a very short time for the presentation, this is nothing less than an eye-opener to help us achieve a meaningful path and a meaningful achievement worthwhile in 2025. This lecture delivery today has opened our eyes to the strategies, not just to set the goal, but how we can implement the goal personally and as a community at Thomas Adewume University. Thank you so much once again for the delivery. I have once heard you mention personally that it's either you do it, delete it, delegate it, or dedicate time for it. And you have repeated the same thing again to let us know how we can manage our time, which is the greater resources that is equal for everyone. I want to give room for questions. Number one, for those that are connected online, please kindly drop your question in the chat box so that I can pick your question. And then also ask colleagues. I will just take 2 questions alone, if there are, for us to finish this meeting. We have just 11 minutes more before we round off. It's part of time management that we have learned today. The event is always 4 to 5 p.m. Do we have questions? Anyone? Okay, sir. I have one question, sir. I know by the your citation that we just read that you're a very pretty busy person. You have given us some of the examples in the presentation you have made. You have to attend to patients, you have to attend to research, and also teach. Can you give us an empirical example of how a typical day goes like for you in the university when you have to combine all of these things together as well as secular activity? A practical example, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. You have really captured it as practical as possible, where there are actually other side of me, which you personally, you know, because I have also engaged in church activities. So usually my day starts 4 a.m. My typical day starts 4 a.m. I like to sleep early. I give myself nothing less than 6 hours in a day, which is okay. I also do some, maybe 1 hour or so afternoon nap. So when I have a lecture, and when I wake up in the morning, I start 4 a.m. Then it's science in the morning. I learned that from my mentor, science in the morning. So I start with my science 4 a.m. And of course, by 8, I have to set out for the work. And then usually my lecture is in the morning. And when I do my lecture, my clinic starts around 9 or 10, sometimes 9, sometimes 10. So I give a lecture 1 hour, and I go for my ward round. My ward round is usually 3 hours. Sometimes I go for 4 hours, but again, time management, I'm very conscious of that. So after I done my ward round, so that ward round is for that day. The next one is I go for my research work. So if I start round by 10, I can finish it by 1. If I start it by 9, I may finish by 12. And from that 12, I go to my research. I go and do my research. So my research goes on. By the time towards the evening time, sometimes I have a church activity, I have to dash in there. From there, I come back home. And when I do that, and then I relax, and then if there's any mail to check, I do that, and then I sleep. Now, there are some times that calls will interrupt with this. So what I do, we have a roll call. When I'll be on call as a consultant in teaching hospital, it's not every day. For a whole month, it is there. We also have a rota. So I will use that rota to plan my activity for that month, so that my clinical work will not affect my research work. I also have some free day, like Friday. Friday is usually free for me. So that Friday that's free for me, I usually devote it to lecture and research. So that is the typical way in which I manage my time. The other thing is that one of the things I have learned to do effectively, okay, is to deal with distraction. I deal with distraction as much as possible. My meeting where I'm a chairman is very brief and very concise and comprehensive. So I don't allow people telling stories. When I'm seeing patient can engage you for 1 hour. I dictate, I direct, and I allow the patient. If the patient want to tell story, I give them what to tell me. I lead them because I'm an expert. They are not. So, and they will be swerving away by attempting to want you to sympathize so much. But I allow them to speak their mind, guiding them for what is important. So my typical day is really a bit challenging, like busy. But I've tried as much as possible to overcome it because we have been doing it for a year. And that is why, by God's grace, I'll be able to keep on with my research work and my publications as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your submission. That is such a very amazing one. I want to just pick a question online. Colleagues, we have with us the Vice Chancellor of MIVA University, Professor TAU KnowledgeX. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Professor Adisa Ibrahim, the coordinator of the KU8 Research Grant Unit. I want to pick the question of Professor KnowledgeX, the Vice Chancellor of MIVA University. And I wanted to answer that question, sir, in just 2 minutes. He said, I enjoyed your presentation. My question is about your submission. Shift task and not multitask. Why did you recommend this? Because one can get more done by multitasking operation. 2 minutes, sir. Professor Olanrewaju, did you get that, sir?
Yes, I could read the question. Thank you very much, Prof, for the question. I could not share a reference publication that look at this, but we have reviewed some of these. We actually apply to some of the work we are doing with some organization in the US. And we found that multitasking reduces the efficiency. Multitasking, what we are saying is you are doing too many things at the same time. But shifting tasks is that those things you are doing one thing and you are finishing and doing the next one. So it's not that you are abandoning it. No. What you are saying is you concentrate energy on that matter at hand. Because when you devote all the energy and time on it, you are able to complete it on time and go to the next one. But when one is biting too many things at a time, you see, we say it like burning the candle by both ends. It will not allow full concentration on them. The energy involved, the mind concern will be diffuse and divided. If we try this sincerely, we will see that when we have multiple things to do, then we do the first one. Usually they recommend the difficult one should be do first, particularly in the morning. That is eat that frog, talk about. Then you'll be able to, when the brain is alert, when you are composed and when the environment is fresh and something, you can deal with difficult matter easily that way. And matter that does not too much intellectual capacity, you can deal with that one even when you're tired. Well, while some people may feel that, oh, they are endowed to do many things at the same time, but generally speaking, shifting task, what task shifting means or shifting task means is that you finished one and then go to the next one. There are many 4 or 5 or 4 things you want to do. You look at them and you see, you finish this one, you finish the next one. Not that you are abandoning the rest. We are talking about efficiency and effectiveness to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. I think we can understand that, except we have another question to follow.
Yeah, you nailed it already, sir. You nailed it, sir. Thank you so much, Professor Timothy Olanrewaju. I want to give our Vice Chancellor the opportunity to make the closing remarks and also appreciate Professor Timothy Olanrewaju on behalf of the university.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farambi. And on behalf of the entire university, campus community, Famous Tadumi University, I want to appreciate Professor Olanrewaju for this excellent presentation. I listened all through, and it was really a beautiful one that resonates with everyone. I want to thank our colleagues who joined us from outside of TAU. The Vice Chancellor of MIVA Open University is here, Professor TAU KnowledgeX. We also have members of the Nigeria Computer Society, Kogi State Chapter and National. We have the convener of the Women in Artificial Intelligence, Nigeria and Africa, Professor Sakinat Folorunsho, and Professor Raufu Ibrahim is coordinating the KU8 Research and Innovation and Grants. I thank everybody for spending this beautiful afternoon with us. The TAU KnowledgeX is our kind of monthly watering hole for exchange of ideas. We take on contemporary, non-technical topics, something that everyone can relate with, that resonates with everyone. And then since we started about a year ago, it's always been an excellent one. So I want to thank everyone for their patience and participation, for our colleagues who are there at the virtual lab, the seminar room, the PG seminar room, and those who have joined virtually online. Thank you all for being part of this beautiful afternoon. The next edition will be announced in due course, and it's going to be as beautiful, as action-packed, as powerful as this one. Thank you once again, Professor Olanrewaju, and we look forward to having you here in person at some time in the future. It was a beautiful one, and we're grateful to you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Farumbi. I'll hand over to you now to close finally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Madam Vice Chancellor. We are grateful for the closing remarks. I believe that we are going back with some beautiful nuggets. I will request Professor Olanrewaju to kindly share with us this presentation. Do we have your permission, sir, to request for this presentation?
Definitely, absolutely. I will send it immediately now to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Colleagues will be happy so that we can implement what you have learned today as it cuts across every facet of our life. Once again, I want to welcome everyone and appreciate you for attending the January edition of the TAU KnowledgeX. As the Vice Chancellor has mentioned, we will meet again, same location on our Zoom platform next month by the grace of God. Happy afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.